Okay, Mayor, you can start our meeting.
Okay, thank you, Susan. I certainly want to welcome everyone to the Vinton Town Council meeting for this Tuesday evening, June the 1st. It's always good to have everyone here online. So I'll call the meeting to order. And Susan, if you would call the roll, please, and also read our confirmation, please.
All right, roll call of council, please. Councilmember Lyles,
Here.
Councilmember Mullins,
Here.
Councilmember Stovall,
Here.
Vice Mayor McCarty,
Here.
Mayor Gross.
Here.
We do have a quorum of council. Town staff that are present: Pete Peters, Cody Sexton, Susan Johnson, Ann Cantrell, Chief Drummond, Donna Collins, Anita McMillan, and Chastity Barber. Also present, Jeremy Carroll, the town attorney, Debbie Adams with the Vinton Messenger, and Wayne Strickland with the Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission. I would like to confirm that our meeting is being held in accordance with Town Ordinance number 1016 and Section 4-0.01G of Chapter 1289 of the 2020 Acts of the Virginia General Assembly, and everyone present is participating by electronic means. Mayor, the meeting is yours.
Okay, Susan, thank you very much for that. Next couple items, moment of silence and pledge of allegiance. I know it's awkward, but if you don't mind standing for that during this moment of silence, we do that so everyone can pray as they see fit. But if you will keep this country, this community, and this council meeting in your thoughts and prayers, we would certainly appreciate that. I will end that time. And at that time, we'll ask Council Member Keith Lyles to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. If you folks would stand for that, please. Thank you, Father, for this day. We just pray that you'll continue to give us success in our country and in our community, and certainly in the council meeting tonight, and just ask that you continue to guide us. Amen. Keith?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, folks. That'll be a little less awkward when we get back in to our regular council meetings in person. Hopefully that will be in July if things go right. So I'm really, really excited to see that. As always, we will now turn to Vice Mayor McCarty for our upcoming community events and announcements. You have anything this evening?
I do.
All right.
June the 3rd is the Community Center Senior Programs is back on Thursdays. So we have Tai Chi 9:15 to 10 a.m. and then playing cards from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. I had someone in my office today that was excited that they were going to get to go play cards. So I know that the seniors are excited. June the 5th is the Vinton History Museum Ice Cream Social from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. sponsored by Walmart Neighborhood Store and the History Museum. On June the 7th at the Vinton Farmers Market from 6 to 7 p.m. It's Burger and Boot Camp. You come there, you order your burger from Farmagasa, then you work out, and then your burger's ready to pick up. So you got a reward of a great burger at the end of your hard workout. June the 12th is the Mingle at the Market from 7 to 10 p.m. It's the Oddfellas Band. There'll be food trucks and a beer garden. June the 13th is the Vinton War Memorial 5 p.m. Flag Day and Army's 246th birthday. Music by the 29th Division Band and a special guest speaker. June the 19th, there's another Mingle oh, wait a minute, June the 19th, the Benton Farmers Market Under the Bridge Ministries concert and fundraiser will be from 5 until 7 p.m. June the 26th is another mingle at the market from 7 to 10 p.m. at the farmers market. And just wanted to make note that the Lancerlot Pool is open again from 10 to 7 p.m. The Lancelot is also doing a theater on ice. So if that's something that interests anyone, do check that out. It sounds very interesting and different to the area. The library hours are now 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday and 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday and Saturday. And I understand and am anxious to hear from Ms. Chastity about July the 3rd and the 4th. So I'm turning it over to you, Chastity.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you, Sabrina. Hello, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, and everybody else that's watching in the Facebook world. So without further ado, I'd like to talk to you about July 3rd and July 4th. So thanks to Mr. Lyles, July 3rd, we will be starting at the Vinton Farmers Market, and we have teamed up with the downtown Roanoke City Market to offer rides from the Vinton Farmers Market starting at 10 o'clock. And it will ride, you'll get on a bus. It's a 15 passenger bus. We have one of our town employees that's gonna give you a ride. This is for market shoppers only. I just wanna make that known just so you can get on the bus and we'll take you down to the Roanoke City Market. You will stay at the city market every hour on the hour. We will come back with the bus. So we'll sit in Vinton from 9 to 10, and then we'll drive to Roanoke City. We'll stay there from 10 to 11. Then everybody will get on the bus, and from 11 to 12, we'll be in Vinton. And then from 12 to 1, we'll be back at the city. At 1 o'clock, the bus will leave coming back to Vinton. And hopefully you'll get some local shopping. The city's really excited to sponsor, to go in partnership with us for this event. So we'll see how it works out. And hopefully we'll have another one in August. So again, y'all come down and shop with us down at the Vinton Farmers Market on July 3rd. We'll have a flyer for the next council meeting so you can keep that information handy so you'll know exactly what times to come down. And
Awesome.
then I think you'd like that a little bit, Keith. And then
Great.
with the new orders in place, it seems like to us that we can have July 4th in person. Yay!
Right.
I am super excited about this. To have people on the front lawn again of the War Memorial. So we will launch fireworks from the back of the War Memorial like we did year before last. You'll see some familiar faces. Lolo Chariot, JD Suffin's going to be there as the band playing that night. We'll have food trucks, and then you might see our friends from Twin Creeks in the front yard serving up some beer. So some more details to come with that, but I just wanted to let y'all know we get to actually have it in person and the event will be happening.
Yay!
All right. All right. Sounds
Any
great.
questions, please let me know. You can reach out to me now, or you can send me a message on my email. It's cbarber@vintonva.gov.
Okay. Way to go, Chastity. That's great news.
That's exciting.
Yeah, no kidding. That's awesome. That's an awesome way to go. Okay, with that, we'll move on to the next item is request to postpone or change the agenda. Any requests this evening? Hearing none, we will move along. I don't see anything listed on the consent agenda. So with that, we'll move on to the next item, which is my favorite section, and that's our awards and proclamation. And have very special proclamation that recognizes Mr. Wayne Strickland, Executive Director of the Roanoke Valley Allegheny Association Commission. And boy, I should know the name by now, right, Wayne?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to take this opportunity to read this proclamation, if you folks don't mind. Whereas on March 25th, 2021, Wayne G. Strickland announced his retirement as Executive Director of the Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission effective June 30, 2021, after 42 years of service to the town of Vinton and the region. And whereas Mr. Strickland earned a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in political science and geography from Georgia State University in 1972 and 1974 respectively, and in 1979 earned a Master of City Planning degree from the Georgia Institute of Technology. And whereas in 1979, Mr. Strickland joined the Regional Commission, then known as the 5th Planning District Commission, as a regional planner. And whereas in 1981, he was promoted to Chief of Land Use and Environmental Planning, and in 1987 became Executive Director of the Regional Commission and has served in that capacity for 34 years. Wow. And whereas many regional initiatives such as the Greenway Commission, Western Virginia Water Authority, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, the Partnership for a Livable Roanoke Valley, and the Roanoke Valley Broadband Authority benefited from Mr. Strickland's support during his tenure and have been supported by the Regional Commission in numerous ways since their inception. And whereas during this time at the commission, Wayne has participated in numerous business and civic activities in the Roanoke Valley Allegheny region, such as serving as a board member of the Roanoke Blacksburg Technology Council, the Roanoke Regional Chamber of Commerce, Freedom First Credit Union, the Roanoke Valley chapter of Habitat for Humanity, the Cabell Brand Center, the Council of Community Services of the Roanoke Valley, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the Arts Council of the Blue Ridge. And whereas Mr. Strickland also assumed leadership roles in various professional organizations during his tenure as executive director, including serving as a member of the board of directors for the National Association of Development Organization, chairman of the Southeast Regional Directors Institute, president of the Development District Association of Appalachia, president of the Rural Planning Caucus of Virginia, president of the Southwest Virginia chapter of American Society for Public Administration, vice president of the Virginia chapter of the American Planning Association, and the second vice president of the Virginia Association of Planning District Commission. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Bradley E. Gross, Mayor of the town of Vinton, on behalf of the town council and all of our citizens, do hereby express our sincere appreciation to and honor the outstanding service and career of Wayne G. Strickland in his role as Executive Director of the Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission, and extend best wishes to Mr. Strickland in his retirement and in all his future endeavors. Wayne, I would just like to add to all that, certainly an impressive list of accomplishments. But I would just like to add that I've appreciated you very much. We've had an opportunity to work together for several years now. And yeah, it's been a while. And I've appreciated your steady leadership. I think that's one of the great things you've brought to the Regional Commission, the way you've developed a really professional staff, and the way that you have always conducted yourself as a gentleman. So I've appreciated all of that, along with most especially your friendship. So Wayne, thank you for all the things you've done for our region.
Thank you, Mayor.
Wow. Did you ever, maybe you can get you some rest now. Did you ever have time to even rest?
I spent 10 years in Atlanta working before I came here. So I think 52 years, it's time to maybe think about retirement. But no, I've enjoyed it. You know, I think people ask me, are you going to miss the job? And I tell them, it's not so much the job, it's the people. You know, I've had opportunity to work with a lot of great folks in our region and in the state and actually throughout the country over the last 4 decades. And I'm going to miss them. I'm going to miss all of you guys as well. I mean, I've been working with the town of Vinton for 40 something years and go back to when Gus Nix was here. And you know, we've had a number of leaders from the town of Vinton over the years. And Mayor Gross has served 2 terms as chair. And we appreciated that. And we appreciate, you know, the council members like Mr. Stovall, who not only serves on the TPO, but he also is the chairman of our Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy Committee. Mr. Lyles, who serves on the TPO, and Pete Peters, of course, also serves. But over the years, it's been amazing how many people in Vinton I've had a chance to participate with, you know, come in contact with, and to work with over the years. So it's been great. It's been a lot of fun.
Right. Well, we certainly appreciate you. Any other comments? Okay, well, Wayne, as always, we appreciate seeing you and just have really enjoyed working with you over the years. And not like you're leaving town completely, at least I don't think so. So we'll be seeing you around.
No, sir. And Mayor, I want to thank you and the town council for this proclamation. It means a lot to me.
Well, you bet. It is our pleasure. Thank you, sir. All right. If there are no further comments, we'll move on to the next item, which is another proclamation. I think Mike's going to read this one for National Safety Month.
I am, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. The proclamation reads, whereas safety and healthy workplaces are vital to our well-being and the economic prosperity of the Commonwealth, and whereas each year more than 80,000 Virginia workers suffer serious job-related injuries or illnesses, and more than 90 Virginia workers die in work-related incidents. And whereas workplace safety requires the cooperation of all levels of government, business, and industry, as well as the general public. And whereas implementing health and safety programs can improve Virginia's business performance and contribute to the local economy and job force. And whereas workplace injuries lead to increased medical or worker compensation costs and diminishes productivity of employees. And whereas accidents and injuries in the workplace are preventable. And employees and employers must be engaged, educated, and aware of safety practices and policies. And whereas the National Safety Council has designated June as National Safety Month for 2021 and provides resources to promote safety in the workplace by recognizing hazards, potential slips, trips, and falls, combating fatigue and impairment. Now, therefore, I, Bradley Gross, Mayor of the Town of Vinton, on behalf of the Town Council and all our citizens, do hereby recognize the month of June 2021 as National Safety Month in the Town of Vinton and call upon all citizens and employees of the Town of Vinton to promote good workplace safety and health practices.
All right, Mike, thank you very much for reading that. And of course, Donna has worked on this a lot. Donna, did you have any additional comments this evening?
Maybe. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. No, I just want to say thank you. And, you know, this is obviously, as always, a team effort, and we couldn't accomplish anything without the members of the committee and staff as well. And we just look forward to keep moving forward and progressing as we can. But we appreciate and respect all the support that you all have given us.
Okay, thank you, Donna. And thank you, Mike, for reading the proclamation. Donna, where's the puppy dog this evening?
She had other arrangements. She wanted to take the night off. So
Got a better deal, huh? Okay.
apparently.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Thank you, folks. We will move on to citizen comments and petitions. And this, of course, is for anything that's not listed anywhere else on the agenda. Susan, have you received anything in the office?
No request for this meeting, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, we'll move on to our public hearings for this evening. We have two. The first is a public hearing concerning funding for our new PTO benefit plan. So I will officially open the public hearing and we will start with a report from staff. And I think you have that, right?
Thank you. Yes, I do. Good evening, Mayor and members of council. At the direction of council, the administration has worked with staff to develop a pay time off or PTO policy to replace the town's existing vacation and sick leave accrual policy. The town council and administration did not want to adversely impact any employees transitioning to the new plan and included a payout calculation for any current balance that would cause the employee to exceed the maximum leave limit within the following 13 months of implementing this plan. So based on the options chosen by the town employees and turned back in, an amendment to the town of Benton's fiscal year 2021 budget needs to be made to appropriate the funding to cover the cost of this transition from the current leave plan to the PTO plan in an amount not to exceed $280,000. And the reason we're bringing this before you as a public hearing is section 15.2-2507 of the 19 Virginia Code of Virginia as amended requires any locality to hold a public hearing in order to amend its budget when any such amendment exceeds 1% of the total expenditures in the currently adopted budget. And I'm happy to say the notice for this public hearing was advertised in the Roanoke Times on Monday, May 24th, 2021. I do want to comment that this particular resolution is only approving the budget funding for the payout. It's not actually approving the PTO plan. That will be a separate item further down on the agenda.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Ann. I appreciate that. Susan, have you received any public comments on this item? I think that was a no.
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Council, you have any questions or any comments you'd like to add?
Mayor, I would just like to thank staff, Pete, and everyone else that worked on this, and then also that giving us updates up until an hour ago before council on this new PTO plan and some of how it affects different folks. So thanks, guys. It was very beneficial to know all the details before trying to vote on something like this.
Right. It's good comment. It's always good to know all the details, and there's been a lot of work put in. HR, the entire staff, finance, and everyone. So, yeah. Any other comments, questions? No. If not, we'll officially close the public hearing. Council, you have before you a resolution which would in fact approve the funding as we've heard described by Ann a few minutes ago. Is there a motion?
There is. There is a motion. I'll make a motion.
Okay, I think that's Mike. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Was that you, Keith?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Stovall, a second by Councilman Lyles. Susan, please call. Any other discussion, questions?
No, I would like Councilman Lyles like to echo, I think that when we, at the last meeting, when we got the briefing from Ms. Collins and the HR and the finance department, it was well done. I have been involved for years with the PTO part of this work of a workforce, and once again, as Keith said, my hat's off to them for a great job and presented to staff. And it's when you feel like, as he said, you're getting information up, to read and phone calls. You feel like that you're voting on something that's been well vetted. And once again, I think that's what not only the staff, but the citizens of the town asked for. So congratulations to everybody.
Yes. Well said. Well said. Thank you for that. Any further comment? If not, Susan, if you would call the roll, please.
Okay, let's give it 1 second. Sabrina's trying to get back in.
Okay.
I do not see her. Everybody's having technology problems, huh?
Yeah, I was, as I mentioned earlier, I had some technical issues and dropped out of a meeting twice last week, regional commission meeting, as a matter of fact.
Mayor, while we're waiting, I'd just like to thank staff as well for their work, Donna and Ann in particular on the PTO, but also council for the great direction. I mean, this has been something that council set for us well over a year ago. And staff have worked the last several months to try to get a really sound policy vetted by not only council, but also the employees. So I feel very, very comfortable with how the employees have received this. And their willingness and kind of how they've provided some input. So great job all the way across the board, but thanks for council for setting that direction and being patient with us as we got that together. And as you've said, we've been working right up to the 12th hour, so to speak, on making some tweaks, but I feel like we've got a really sound policy moving ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly a complicated issue. And of course, this part will cover the funding that's required to make the change over to the new policy. But it's, obviously something that had to be done. So I'm glad that staff was able to work through, as I say, a very complicated issue. So I don't know, Susan, has she shown back up on your
She
radar?
has not. Jeremy, can I ask you a question? Robert's Rules of Order, if Sabrina doesn't get in, should I just go ahead and call the roll? And do I show her as left the meeting and absent from this particular item? Here she
Yeah,
is
that's fine.
again. Let's
still-
try it one more time.
So you still have a quorum, so you're fine to take action.
So we're good. All right, maybe she's coming here this time. All right, maybe we got her. Sabrina, you
Can you hear me?
there? We can.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we're getting ready to do roll call on the PTO public hearing resolution. So we have a motion, a second, so I'm going to do roll call. You hear me? All right. Councilmember Lyles,
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. All right. Okay, with that, we'll move on to our next public hearing. This one is to take comments involving the 2021, 2022 town budget. So I will officially open the public hearing. And as always, we will start with a report from staff. Pete, are you going to start or Ann?
Yes, sir. I think we're going to try to tag team
Okay.
this presentation, Ann and I. I'm going to kick things off, and I'm going to do my best to run the slide presentation as we go through. This is a slightly a revisited version of the presentation you received at the May 18th meeting. We've pared it down a little bit, but if you have particular questions as we go, feel free, or you can wait till the end of the presentation. Let me see if I can get to this up and running.
Okay.
Everyone see a budget public hearing PowerPoint?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So as I mentioned previously, this was presented on May 18th council meeting. This is the town manager's recommended budget for fiscal year 21-22. This slide here you see before you this evening is just a reminder of how we kind of proceeded to attack the budget this year in the development. And we wanted to keep in mind the three established goals that town council adopted in your strategic plan last year. And those three goals were to enhance the town's infrastructure and livability, maintain an efficient and high-performing government, and ensure the town's continued financial viability by actively pursuing quality economic development. Some of the highlights of the proposed budget, the budget is balanced across all funds. The budget does outline an optimistic outlook and evidence of economic growth and a revenue recovery from the previous year, despite the COVID impacts. Mills tax, sales tax, and the parimutuel taxes are doing extremely well. We have continued to focus on targeted economic development activities, including the Gish Mill redevelopment, which you'll hear a little bit more about later tonight. The hotel recruitment, transportation improvement projects, including enhanced walkability. The implementation of a new classification and compensation plan. We are commonly referring to this as the Virginia Tech plan. And you'll see a little bit later in the presentation, we were able to achieve 2 of the 3 recommended phases of that plan. We also included a 1% COLA for all employees, although considering the compensation plan adjustments, most employees will see significantly more given that comp plan adjustment. We were able to maintain the current free health insurance package for all employees. And one of the more exciting things is we also was able to restore this capital improvement plan, and we did provide funding for year 1 of 7 of that plan. And lastly, we didn't go into great detail about this last meeting, but we are proposing a number of planning and zoning fee adjustments, and we'll talk a little bit more in detail about that in a moment. This budget here is just an overhaul snapshot of the budget. It's $8 million in the general fund, $384,000 in the grant fund, $4.5 million and some change in the utility fund, $835 in the capital fund, $414 in stormwater, and total across all funds is $14,179,981. And that represents a 21.5% increase over fiscal year 21. Again, that is a little bit misleading because we had such a large reduction, what we would call as our COVID budget, where we scaled back considerably right before adoption. This slide here, you'll see an expenditure breakdown between all funds. The largest expenditure is personnel at 40% of the total budget. The next largest is operating expenses at just under 28, followed by capital at just under 13, debt at just over 12% of our budget, and lastly, transfers across the funds at about 7. This is the same details I just mentioned, but it's just in pie chart format, and Ann and I both agree that these are a little bit easier to read sometimes in the color-coded format you see before you. So again, personnel being our largest expense at 40%. This slide, you'll see just a little bit of additional breakdown on the Virginia Tech pay classification plan. Virginia Tech consulted, well, we consulted with Virginia Tech in 19 and 20. Although due to the pandemic, we were unable to really implement this plan as of last budget cycle. So in this year, we were able to implement 2 out of the 3 recommended phases. And our hope is that revenues will allow us to implement the 3rd phase of the plan next year. Phase 1 that again was funded was to move all employees to the minimum of the new classification plan. Phase 2, which is funded, moves all employees 1% per year in their current position through the classification plan, gets them to the midpoint of that of where they are in the compensation plan. And then phase 3, you'll see there again is not funded in this year. This would be a tenure pay, which will increase $100 per year of service for those employees with 5+ total years of service with the town. Again, we hope to be able to implement this piece next year. These next couple slides, some additional breakdown on the planning and zoning fee adjustments. I did send out to council last week a comparison of a number of towns and city and county surrounding the town of Benton as a comparison of what our fees currently are as opposed to what we're proposing. I would like to mention that our fees have not been adjusted since 2005, so it's been quite some time since we've had an increase. These new proposed fees are in line with our surrounding local government, so we're very competitive with each of these categories. And I do also want to note that despite these adjustments, in most cases, the town would still not be covering all the associated costs, in particularly with our mailing requirements and our publication in local newspapers when we have certain requirements there. So we have proposed a comprehensive adjustment across the board, but in most cases we're still underfunding those requirements. And then my last slide before I turn it over to Ann will be a staffing breakdown across the departments. I did present this to the last council meeting as well, but this represents unfreezing of 2 positions that again were as a result of the COVID budget. We unfroze those positions and we filled several key positions that we identify within the strategic plan and areas of focus for the coming year. This includes the addition of a new planner that will focus primarily on code enforcement and GIS, and also an analyst position within the finance office. This would create some hierarchy and some backfill within that structure. This next budget cycle, perhaps within the current year's budget, we do anticipate, and we also anticipate some ARPA stimulus funds. We might be a time to consider additional police officer or perhaps some additional capacity needed in the Public Works Department. So we'll be coming back to you in the future to talk about those. But you'll see, again, across all different departments, we have 73 budgeted full-time positions. And I believe, yes, indeed, I will turn it over to Ann at this point, and I will still try to drive the PowerPoint from this point forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. So for this portion, I'm going to do a brief overview of the presentation from last time, but hopefully a little bit more condensed. So let's go to the next slide. There we go. So general fund revenue, instead of looking at all of the pieces independently, like we did in our last work session, I just wanted to show you an overview of the forecast in the general fund. So you can see here in fiscal year 17, we actually had higher revenue than what is trending now. This is primarily due to a $250,000 grant. In that year, it was before we had grants set aside in a separate fund. There was a $65,000 drop in sales tax in fiscal year 18. So that's part of the reason you see that orange column in fiscal year 18 going down, in addition to less grant money in that year. Then in fiscal year 19, we had growth from fiscal year 18 and it was right on budget. You can see we were pretty much right in line with expectations. And then in fiscal year 20, we were about even with fiscal year 19 and slightly above budget. So fiscal year 21 is actually trending slightly less than our actual on fiscal year 20, but slow growth is forecasted to continue through fiscal year 25. And you can see that in 21, even though we're slightly less than actual in fiscal year 20, we're still much higher than our budget projections were for the COVID-19 we forecasted having impacts from. Next slide. General property tax is actually only 9% of the general fund budget. So this was in the last time, and I wanted to bring it to your attention again. Very unusual for local government. 45% of our budget is actually from other local taxes. This is things such as business license, cigarette tax, meals tax, communications, sales and use tax, bank stock tax, pari-mutuel tax. You get the idea, the small local taxes. Sales tax revenue is actually our next biggest at, well, actually third biggest, sorry, 14% of the budget. Categorical aid is about 16% of the budget, but this is non-local sources. This is through state aid specific for items such as highway maintenance and House Bill 599 funding. And then all other categories combined, not mentioned above, is 17% of the remaining budget. So you can see a very large percent of our budget is from other local taxes, sales tax, and categorical aid. Here we wanted to show you the fiscal year 22 expenditure budget by function. So like Pete mentioned above, I love graphs and the visual aid that you can see here. 37% of our general fund budget is spent on public safety there in orange. 24% is public works in gray. So combined with our public safety and our public works, 61% of our general fund budget is those two main functions there, public works and public safety. So 9% of our budget is transfers, 9% administration, community development is 7%, special programs is also 7%, debt is 6%, And the other items are 1% of our budget, which are performance agreement and retiree insurance premiums. And so looking away from department function and looking into our main buckets here, personnel, operating, capital, debt, transfers, and contingencies, 51% of our general fund budget is personnel and benefits. That's the light blue in the pie chart. 30% is operating costs, or the orange in the pie chart. 4% is small capital purchases. This is gray. 6% is debt retirement, or yellow. And then 9% is the stormwater fund and capital fund transfers, and that's that dark blue piece of the pie. For unassigned fund balance, one really neat thing is we're actually projected to be 3.7% over our policy target in fiscal year 22. So if you see on the slide here, the policy target for 4 months is 33.33%. We're actually forecasting to end up at 37.03% of our budget for next year. So one thing to note is that as revenue budget grows, the fund balance policy target will grow because it's a percentage of our revenue. So having 4% extra could actually help you not need to add to fund balance in the future, or it gives you flexibility to add to projects that come in over budget during the year. In our grant fund, we have 2 grants that we're appropriating as part of the budget process: the VML Risk Management Grant for $4,000, and then the Glade Creek Greenway Phase 2B for $360,000, or $380,000, excuse me. So the total of these 2 grants is $384,800. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see that the same 2 grants are included on the expenditure for the same amount as the revenue. The match for Glade Creek Phase 2B is included in the capital fund. And speaking of capital, we're moving right along. The transfer in for the capital fund is $550,000. This is no accident. This actually agrees to the parimutuel tax we budget in the general fund revenue. And then we also have a use of fund balance of $285,000 that we moved into the fund for projects this year. So the total revenue in is $835,000. And then on this slide here, one of the neat things I wanted to show you is you often see the list of projects, but how does that break out by department? So you can actually see to this pie chart on the slide on the side which departments we're spending in CIP. And so incomplete projects in fiscal year 21, you can see right there we have 1.7 million total expenditures projected for fiscal year 21. Anything that's incomplete will be evaluated at the end of the year and taken for a roll forward to you during fiscal year 22 if it's not able to be completed. This is the current capital improvement plan for fiscal year 22. I will say a caveat here. This list could be subject to change depending on what we find out with the ARPA eligibility. And there's also a lot of unknown factors right now with future federal funding possibilities. Lots of F's there, sorry. At this point in time, this is our current plan. And if there's any changes, we'll brief you on it, but we're definitely evaluating the staff. How can we target the best eligibility and meet the expectations of the town? So in the utility fund, operating revenue forecast does exclude any use of fund balance. So we did not include that in our forecast. The trend also assumes that we will continue a 6% increase on the service cost and an 8% increase on the rate until fiscal year 24. And then the town anticipates a use of fund balance for fiscal year 22 and possibly into fiscal year 23, depending on the consumption billing. So on the revenue summary, one thing we wanted to show you is 99% of the revenue is from water and sewer billing, or the operating revenue off to the side. So almost 100% of the revenue is coming from what we bill our customers. And then this is a little bit different than our general fund because the largest expense in our utility fund is actually operating at 32%. And then personnel follows closely behind at 29%. Debt is 28% of our budget. Small capital is 6% of the budget. And then stormwater transfers of 5% of the budget. And then one thing we wanted to note here is there's no fund balance policy currently for the utility fund, but if we use their general fund policy as our target, we would be above because our policy states 33.33%, and we currently have 59.70% projected. Even with our use of fund balance, we're anticipating to have 49.46% on hand at the end of fiscal year 22. We did refinance debt with the restrictive guidelines on use of fund balance so that we would be able to do that next year. And then the use of fund balance in fiscal year 22 is temporary. So the system will return to a revenue generating position in fiscal years 23 and 24. So the stormwater fund is currently a transfer from the general fund and utility fund until this fund is actually able to generate standalone revenue. And it's $414,000 for this fiscal year. And on the expenditure summary, you'll see that 46% of the budget is operations in gray, 23% is administration in blue, 22% is street and road cleaning in orange, and 9% is debt retirement in yellow. And then our last detail slide of the night is actually the budget. So interestingly enough, if you add all of the payments across all the funds, it would be 12% of our overall budget is related to debt. Most of it is utility related. If you see there that the utility fund's at 1.2 million. And because I know this is a topic of interest, I did want to jot down that our updated debt per capita is 1,369. And based on the latest APA data, that would still rank us at about 30 out of 35 towns. And that is all I had for you this evening. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ann, very much for that information. And Pete, thank you too. We certainly appreciate it. Next, we will receive public comments. Susan, have you received anything in your office?
No, Mayor, no requests for comments on this item.
Okay, thank you very much. Council, you have any questions or comments you'd like to make at this time? Nope.
Nope, other than, as always, great job, Ann and staff. And especially with the time that we were in last year for a budget to come out like it has. Hey, we're very lucky to be the town that we are.
Yep. Yeah, I certainly agree. And I think Mike would agree. It's been good to be on the finance committee this year. Yeah. When you think about what we were considering would be a really tough year. I mean, it's been a tough year in a lot of ways, but financially we did okay. So yeah, and thank you for that presentation. As you know, I'm always interested in the debt and particularly the debt per capita. So I thought that was a great presentation, great report. I think you said we're ranked 30th out of 35. So awesome. That sounds great. Sounds great. Any other comments, folks? If not, we'll officially close the public hearing. And as you folks know, we will be taking our action on the budget at our next meeting, June 15th. I look forward to that. Next item is town attorney. Jeremy, you're looking good as always.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Don't see anything listed, but I know you've been busy, so.
Have been. We've been addressing issues under other agenda items, I guess.
Yep, and I'm aware of that, and I appreciate that very much. And with that, we will move on to the town manager. Pete, it's all yours, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor Gross, members of council. Well, in addition to the fine services that Mr. Carroll provides us, we also rely on Roanoke County's Commonwealth Attorney. And this evening, for our first briefing, I have a contract for professional legal services with the Roanoke County Commonwealth Attorney, Mr. Brian Holohan. This is an agreement for him and his staff to represent the town in prosecution of criminal cases, including but not limited to traffic infractions, misdemeanors, civil and mental hearings, as well as cases of juvenile and domestic relations court. In addition to securing the arrangement between the town and Mr. Holohan, the contract also provides for a pay supplement for 7 additional attorneys who work under the Commonwealth Attorney's Office. This agreement will be for 2-year period commencing July 1st, 2021 and will end June 30th, 2023. I did speak with Mr. Holohan back in February this year, and he has agreed to terms included within this agreement. And I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Any questions or comments, folks? No? We're good to go, Pete.
All right, that's pretty standard agreement there. Something we've
Yeah.
had in place for quite a while. Mayor, should I proceed to items requiring action? The first item I have under this section this evening is consideration to execute a performance agreement between the town of Vinton, the Roanoke County Economic Development Authority, Gishmel Devi LLC, for the purpose of investing in public infrastructure and primarily to incentivize the redevelopment of historic Gishmel property into a mixed-use commercial development. The town of Vinton, in partnership with Roanoke County EDA, has negotiated terms of this performance agreement with Gishmel Devi. It's valued up to $910,000 over a 10-year period. But it is, again, I want to reiterate that it is based on performance. So the project has to perform and meet its development goals, its employment goals in order to achieve the incentives moving forward. I won't go into the specific details of the agreement outside of the minimum investment is $2.7 million. It must create and maintain a minimum of 37 new jobs. It must generate and pay to the town $40,000 annually in meals taxes. And then there is a component that you'll hear about at a future council meeting of the IRF Industrial Revitalization Fund loan. And Gishmel Devi is required to pay that back to the town, which then we can then redivert into future economic development projects. Council was briefed on this performance agreement at the May 18th meeting, and Roanoke County EDA unanimously approved the performance agreement on May 19th. So I'll be happy to answer any questions you have at this time, and respectfully request council to consider the resolution before you this evening.
All right, Pete, thank you very much. As Pete mentioned, we do have a resolution before us that would approve the various partnerships involved with the developers of the Gishmel project. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we adopt this.
Okay, Sabrina, was that you?
Uh-huh.
We have a motion by the vice mayor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Council Member Mullins. Council, any further discussions or questions? All
Can't
right,
wait.
hearing.
So can't wait for it to get started.
Amen. You're right about that, brother. That's for sure. All right. If there are no other comments, Susan, if you would call the roll, please.
Councilmember Lyles,
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall,
Yeah.
Councilmember Stovall,
Hmm,
I think he dropped off.
you must have.
see if he asked to unmute.
Yeah, maybe we can catch him later.
Well, he must be gone.
Yep.
Mayor Gross,
Yes.
know where he went? Let's see, here he is. 1 second.
Okay. There he is.
Okay, are you in favor of the motion we just made on the performance agreement? I just called the roll. So you good? Thumbs up?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, I am.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to get, council member McCarty and I are gonna have to join forces over here on Mountain View and Meadows and get some internet work going on.
I have some news for you later in the meeting regarding that.
Good.
Good, good. That sounds great. All right, Pete, I guess it's, so the resolution passes. So Pete, back to you, please, sir.
All right, well, we'll keep moving on Gishmill theme. This next item is a consideration of a resolution to execute an MOU between the town of Roanoke County for support of the Roanoke County, from Roanoke County for the Gishmill redevelopment project. At the May 11th Board of Supervisors meeting, Roanoke County did unanimously approve the MOU between the town and the county, which would provide a reimbursement to the town of up to $40,000 annually for 5 years. This is primarily generated from a real estate and sales tax generated from Gishmill being converted into this new commercial use. The MOU also provides up to $20,000 in building permit fees that are paid to the county be reimbursed to the town to be provided as an incentive to Gishmill Davi. So again, the Roanoke County did unanimously approve this back on May 11th. And staff respectfully request your consideration of this resolution this evening.
Okay, thank you, Pete, for that. So council, you have before you a resolution that would approve the MOU with Roanoke County. And of course, it's another portion of our partnership with Roanoke County that we appreciate so much as we move forward with the Gishmill project. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Okay, I think I heard a motion by Councilman Stovall and Councilman Lyles. Did you make that second? Is that right?
I'll make the second.
Okay. All right. Any discussions, questions, comments? If not, Susan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles,
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. Resolution passes. Back to you, Pete, please.
Thanks, Mayor Gross, and thanks for the support and the guidance from council on this. It's been a long time in the works. And with the cleanup activities completed last week, it'll be nice to see it move into this next phase. So appreciate, again, all council's work and all the staff's work. It's been truly a team effort. Going to be exciting to see it start taking shape. The next item, I'll have HR Director Donna Collins present. This is the resolution for the paid time off conversion. Ms. Collins.
Thank you, Pete. Let me see if I can get my screen to share. Crap. All right, can you all see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So the resolution before you is to approve transitioning our current leave, traditional sick and vacation leave policy to a new PTO plan. And I just briefly wanted to highlight the steps that we went through to get to that point. So in order to transition to a new PTO plan, we have, we wanted to do it within the budget parameters set by council, as well as hoping to achieve that we reduce the lag time in replacing key roles and it doesn't disrupt continuity of services. We respect the employees' current accrued time that they have on the books. And in order to do this, we held a series of meetings where we asked for employee input. And we gave employees 3 options to choose from that we went over in the last meeting. With the effective date of this policy going into place June 1st, should you approve the resolution. And just a brief overview of the PTO policy details, the changes that were made. Leave will be accrued for all 26 pay periods. Currently, we accrue for 24. It cannot be used to reach a retirement date. PTO will not accrue if employee is on extended leave of absence, administrative leave, or suspended. The thresholds of the PTO limits are based on the employee's Virginia retirement plan, whether it's Plan 1, Plan 2, or hybrid members. And PTO is paid out upon separation of employment, except under the following circumstances. Your failure to provide and work out a 2-week notice, terminated for cause under the town standard of conduct policy contained in the employee handbook, and the town manager has the discretion to alter either of the above for good cause shown after consulting with department head and HR. And that's really, other than that, the same conditions and parameters we kept in place as the leave plan that we already have, because they continue to still be effective. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay. Thank you very much. Council, you have any questions for Donna? Comments? No?
No. A comment again, back to where we were doing the public hearing earlier. I know this is a long process and had a lot of people involved with it. And thanks for keeping us all up to date. Like I said, within an hour before council, we were still getting some updates. So just, I know it was a lot of work. And thank you guys for taking this on.
Thank you for the direction. I think it'll be an improvement in what we currently have.
Yeah, I'm definitely in favor of it. I feel like moving forward, this will be good for everyone involved. And when it comes time to have retirements or other things, we'll be able to better take care of the staff. And I think they'll enjoy it once they start using it.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Staff has been, I would say they have been very open-minded and very receptive and contributing to the options as well as the discussion points.
Yeah. There's certainly been a lot of work involved. We've come a long way, and I'm certainly glad that we've reached the point where we can adopt the new PTO plan. Any other comments or questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion for approval of the resolution, which would approve the new PTO policy.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll make,
Okay, I think I heard Keith, Councilman Lyles make the motion for approval, and a second by Councilmember Mullins. Susan, if you would call
that
roll,
works,
please.
sir.
Councilmember Lyles,
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. Resolution passes. So Pete, back to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. The last item this evening for consideration is council's consideration to move the council meetings from 7 p.m. as they are currently held, moving them up to 6 p.m. And this is set to, if approved, to coincide with the return to in-person council meetings on July 6th. I also want to note that staff has been working behind the scenes to have the ability to continue to live stream on Facebook the council meetings, and then we'll have a feature where we can record and they'll be available on demand on our website. So again, this is a consideration to move our meetings up to 6 p.m. and return to in-person as we return to in-person on July 6th.
Okay. Thank you, Pete. And Pete, I understand that all the council members have been contacted previously concerning this item, right?
Yes, sir, you are correct.
Okay. Council, any comments, questions? No? If not, we will entertain a motion to move the council meeting time to 6 p.m. rather than the 7 p.m. And that will start when we resume our meetings in person in July.
I'll make
I'll
a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I think that was Councilmember Mullins. I heard. You made the motion and a second by Vice
Yes,
Mayor
sir.
McCarty. All right, Susan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Laws.
Yeah.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. Thank you, council, for that. By the way, just briefly, I think an important part of that I kind of skimmed over, but it's very important, is we'll be able to continue our Facebook live presentation. So I think that's very important for our citizens to be able to observe the council meetings. I'm very, very excited about that. That's something we've wanted to do for years. So the new technology is allowing us to do that. I think that's a great step forward, and I think our citizens will appreciate that. So, okay, so Pete, back to you, sir.
All right, just a few town manager updates this evening. As I did mention on broadband, Chantel has contacted the town with interest to develop a franchise agreement within the town to operate, provide additional broadband services. So we'll be working with the attorney to consider some future arrangements with Chantel. So that could provide some additional coverage in town. Did want to recognize that the PD had a officer, Officer Settles, who's successfully graduated from the academy and will be transitioning into his field training component for the next several months. So we're excited to have him, and I believe we have 2 other candidates going into the academy as early as next week.
Correct, sir.
Right.
So that's all great news. Want to recognize the finance office, who they successfully completed their preliminary annual audit. So that's always good news to get that piece out of the way. And I think Ann and all her staff, but I know she would also want to recognize all the other departments for their work and prepping for that. It's a continual process, 12 months of the year to make all that work. So appreciate everyone's support there, but congrats to the finance office for getting through that. Also, as we're speaking of the finance office, we are planning to apply for a little over $700,000 in revolving loan funds for a sewage treatment project at the West Virginia Water Authority. So this is a result of some known capital improvement projects, and as part of our member partnership with the Water Authority as they treat our wastewater. We'll be applying for these funds here in the next, I think it opens actually this week, if I'm not mistaken. And that will take care of our share of the obligation along with the city of Salem and the Water Authority. Within the Public Works Department, I know that Keith was very excited about this next item. He was texting us all about the traffic signal at Clearview. So assuming all that's working well, I know it looks good. Hopefully it's functioning appropriately.
Yes.
If it's not working well, can we get him a realtor sign to go in the front yard of his house?
May have to. The other item is Mountain View Road has been restriped. That's been quite a while in production, but we finally were able to get a contractor on site to get that done. And Cody has arranged for a meeting with VDOT next week. So we're going to re-engage with VDOT about the reconstruction activities on Mountain View. As you're aware, we've been working on that for a couple of years and applied for some grant funding. Because of construction costs and the delay of the funding, we want to take another look at that. And so Cody's coordinate that effort to make sure that we have appropriately planned all angles of that reconstruction project. So when the funding is available, we have a very sound executable plan. So we'll be working on that here in the next couple of weeks as well. On the website, I just wanted to highlight, you'll notice that Ironman road closures have been noted. This event is this weekend, June 6th. It will be on Sunday. It will be a significant road impact, traffic impact on residents and visitors coming through town. So if you plan to be in town or have activities in town on Sunday morning, please visit the website There'll be a lot of information being shared out this week, direct mailers, there'll be road closure signs, there'll be traffic message boards. I believe Miss Adams is going to write an article on Thursday's paper. So there should be plenty of avenues. We've contacted churches and businesses that are open on Sunday mornings. The primary impact will be between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Sunday, June 6th. Essentially, Washington Avenue, from Route 24 intersection of the Blue Ridge Parkway all the way to King Street. That entire section of Washington Avenue will be greatly impacted. There'll be either single lane road closures, in some cases, all lane road closures. The other impacts will include a piece of Maple, Lee, and Walnut within the downtown. So please, if anyone is listening, you want to make sure you visit the website to get the full impact of that road closure. There'll be 2,500 triathletes coming through town that day on a piece of the cycling portion. So it's great exposure to the town. The swimming portion is at Carvin's Cove. The biking portion is Route 11, Blue Ridge Parkway, and straight through the heart of downtown Benton. So great exposure. There'll be some great vantage points to see the cycling coming through our downtown. But again, 2,500 athletes from all over the world, not just Virginia or United States, but they're traveling from all over to compete in this event. So we're looking forward to having that, but please be aware of the traffic impacts that may happen on Sunday.
Shame we can't get those 2,500 athletes to stop coming down Washington Avenue, grab a sandwich and a beverage before they go.
Well, I can tell you the activity for their training has picked up over the last several weeks, and this week it'll be very noticeable. Most of those athletes come in this week, several days early in advance, and they'll be practicing that route. So you will see a lot of folks coming through town as they just get familiar with the course, and hopefully they will. We've got several businesses that are participating in a local business campaign to highlight to the athletes and their spouses or friends that are traveling with them on local businesses that are supporting this event. So we have several in town in hopes that they're directly given this information. So when they're in town practicing or getting familiar with the route, that they know the businesses that they can stop in and some cases offer specials and such. So hopefully we will see a lot more traffic this week as they prepare for that event on Sunday. And the last item.
Do we know?
Go ahead.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
The last item that I just wanted to mention was recognizing and planning and zoning office. They had two recent achievements. Anita was able to successfully submit the TMDL action plan to DEQ. That is not an easy assignment, and so she had some work to kind of get that back up to speed, and I appreciate her efforts there. And the office also was successfully recertified in the community rating system, the CRS program, which allows our residents and businesses to receive a 10% discount on their flood insurance. So that's also a lot of effort, and I appreciate her and Nathan's effort to get that recertification. Mr. Mayor, that is all I have this evening. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Obviously, a lot of things going on in town, that's for sure. And we certainly appreciate that update. Do we have I don't see anything listed as far as reports from the committees. So with that, I'll move on to the mayor section. And as I was just saying, a lot of things going on. Things really seem to be picking up as far as our social activities. But folks, when you think about it, we've been really busy even through all the pandemic. And tonight's council meeting was a good example how we just really kind of briefly whipped through some really important things that has really taken a lot of work on the part of our staff. Certainly the Gish's Mill MOU and the partnership agreement, all that stuff takes a lot of work. The PTO thing certainly has taken a lot of work, a lot of time. So just like I often say, for folks that might be tuning in, we see these we as council see these things several times before they get to a council meeting for a final vote. And tonight was a good example. Not only has council seen this several times, but there's been just a lot of work that goes into that. So I just wanted to point out, even though those resolutions seem to flow pretty quickly and easily, it really involved most of our staff and a great deal of work. So just want to thank staff for all the hard work. Certainly want to congratulate Planning and Zoning for the 2 awards that Pete just mentioned. Just a couple of things I want to mention briefly. We had a car show. It's actually the Dogwood car show, and kind of off schedule. And so I was pleasantly surprised that even though it wasn't on our normal schedule and tied in with other Dogwood events, there were 70 vehicles there, and a lot of people came out. It was just a good day, a lot of fun. And as I often say, car shows are much more than just about the cars. They're about people. We had a lot of people in town that day for the car show. So I want to thank everyone that showed up for that. And also particularly want to thank everyone who worked so hard to arrange the Glade Creek ribbon cutting along with our Arbor Day celebration. I know Anita and the folks in planning department always work very hard on that, but this took a team effort. Public Works and everyone was involved, and we had a great turnout. I was pleasantly surprised. We had a great turnout. It was really a fun event. We had an opportunity to recognize Liz Belcher. Of course, she'll be retiring soon after serving the Valley for 25 years as the Greenway Commission chair. Actually, I guess she's the executive director. And I wanted to mention briefly the Gauntlet Awards ceremony that was held last week. It was really quite interesting. Of course, a lot of people have a lot of great ideas. That's where some great businesses get started, and quite a bit of funding was given out that evening. It was really an inspiring evening, and for me, one of the best parts of the evening was to hear some of the success stories. And I tell you, they are really successful stories there. I was very impressed with that. And of course, one of those great stories was our very own guys from Twin Creek Brewery. They really done well, and they more or less got their start through the Gauntlet Award, and they are a big supporter of that. And it's really inspiring to see all those folks starting out their business. It's really something. One last thing I wanted to mention, of course, we just come through the Memorial Day holiday. It's a very special day, and we certainly want to thank everyone for their service to our country and our first responders. But in particular, that day is designed to honor those who have given their all, given their very life for our country and our freedoms. And of course, we've all heard the statement that freedom is not free, and it certainly is not. So I just want to pay special tribute to all those folks that have given their life in defense of our country and of our freedoms. We're very, very much indebted to those folks. And with that, we will turn it over to town council for their final comments. Vice Mayor, did you have anything further this evening?
Well, I actually had on my list the Public Works picnic as well. I think that was very nice. I think that they thoroughly enjoyed it, and just wanted to thank Mr. Lyles for the Deb's lemonade because it was delicious.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. So, but I enjoyed that, and I hope that we can do that with other departments as well.
Yeah, particularly if Keith's going to be there to give out lemonade, right?
Exactly, yeah. I feel like that needs to be required.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you for that, Vice Mayor. With that, in fact, we'll move on to Council Member Lyles. Anything further this evening, Keith?
Nothing further than what you guys have already covered, especially Memorial Day. And I too really enjoyed the Public Works picnic and getting to talk with a lot of the folks that, they're so busy, you don't get to talk to them during the day if you see them out.
Yeah.
They don't have time. So this was a very good day for them. They got to enjoy a good meal, and then they got to take the rest of the day off, which was a good benefit for them. They deserve it.
You bet. You bet.
And
It was
then-
a good.
Hats off to Chastity for getting the market to market. If she was the one that did that, I hope it's very successful, and I hope it's something that we continue. I think it would bring a lot of folks from the city market to our market, and then also folks from our market that don't feel like driving and trying to find a place to park to go downtown Roanoke's market as well. So hopefully that's a big success, and we continue to do that.
Yep. You bet. You bet. Isn't our staff all awesome? I mean, you brought that up and they just jumped all over it, made arrangements for it. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. Okay, Councilmember Mullins. Do you have anything further this evening?
Yes, sir. I'd also like to add about the Public Works picnic. It was wonderful, and shout out to a handful of guys who were working through the picnic, and we missed them, and they were still working hard for us while we were having a good time. They got to eat a little bit later, but they were still working while we were down there.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about the market to market and the fireworks. July is shaping up to be really good in the town of Benton. And I also wanted to shout out to Debbie Adams. She does such a wonderful job. She makes it look easy. She keeps our citizens informed. She's where she needs to be and gets all the facts right and double checks. And we are lucky to have her.
I certainly agree. I will second that. I'll tell you, we are very fortunate to have Debbie in town, working with the Benton Messenger. It's awesome. And I particularly appreciate the accuracy too, by the way.
If I can say one thing too, excellent job on the graduation, Debbie, at
Yes.
Williamsburg. Lots
Yeah.
and lots of, it was awesome, just like we
Yeah.
were there.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Right.
I don't know how she's in all the places that she's in, She never misses.
Right?
I think there must be 2 or 3 clones there, because like you say, Keith, she's everywhere. Man. Oh my goodness.
And then on top of that, she is busy with her grandchild, taking him everywhere across town, and still manages to do her job and 14 other people's job as well. So
Yeah, exactly right.
Mhm,
Exactly.
That's right.
That's for sure. All right.
needs to be called the Debbie Adams Messenger.
I agree.
Right.
Matter of fact, I told him when I told Debbie this just a few weeks ago when I renewed my subscription, I had to call and make an address change. And I said, as long as Debbie's there at the paper, I'll have a subscription. So she's been a real asset, that's for sure. All right, with that, we will move on to Councilman Stovall. Mike, have anything further this evening?
Just a couple things. Of course, first off, I'm sorry I missed the Public Works luncheon. We had a planned trip to Nashville to see our grandson. So we went and did that. And, I just want to say that how great it is for the buzz, in the town of Benton. I mean, when we talk about all these great things that go on, and, it's just like Sunday. You got 2,500 people coming to this town. And or you would think that probably a high percentage of them was bringing somebody with them. And, Mr. Peters and I were having a conversation today. I think it's going to be exciting to see them, because as I've said to you, they come by my house a lot. Not them, but the cyclists do. I think it's going to be exciting to see them make that left turn right there at Benton Baptist Church. and Joe's Good Pies after coming down Washington Avenue. And but yeah, I'm just excited about it. I'm excited about everything that's going on. Hats off to staff on the budget and everything that we've accomplished. And just great job to everybody.
Great. You're exactly right, Mike. Thank you for that. And yeah, the public works thing was great. It was good food and good people. So great combination. A lot of fun. And to top it off, Deb's lemonade. Can't beat it. So, okay. Anything further to come before council this evening? All right. If not, we will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
All right. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, please signify by saying aye or waving or whatever. Folks, thank you for a great meeting. God bless. Good night.